Hey folks, my name's Kevin and it's time for a little bit more knife nerdery. Today we have an unboxing of a knife that I have been hunting for a while. It's a very specific version of a knife that I'm hunting for a while. I don't know why I always act like this is a mystery. You will know from the title what I'm opening. But I finally got my hands on one of these specific versions of one of my favorite knives. So, by the way, this is a Monterey Bay Knives slayback that I'm using to open a fun double detent. You'll see a full video on that at some point. Okay. Obviously a Spyderco, and this is, yep, an M390 version of the Smock. Ooh, man, I have spent forever trying to find one of these, and I finally ended up getting one. This was part of a DLT Trading exclusive. It was effectively a sprint run that they did in a special version of materials. The regular Smock comes in S30V, and that G10 carbon fiber laminate hybrid that they tend to do. Especially from their Taichung, Taiwan stuff. But this version from DLT comes in red full G10, no carbon fiber laminate on top, and M390. Yeah. Ho 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 ho. As you can tell, this one has had the second detent ball removed, but included. That's nice. And as a result, whew, it has delightful spring out, but then it just falls so freely. Oh, that is beautiful. I absolutely adore the Smock. I think it is a exceptionally cleverly designed, really, really innovative knife. One of the most interesting things Spyderco has put out, honestly, ever, I think, just because of the unique combination of things it's doing. I'm not going to get into a lot of that today because I intend to do a full deep dive on what's going on inside up here in this knife that makes this so clever and neat. And part of that is I'm getting a new set of scales. There's a man named Matt Anderson who makes delightful wooden scales, and he does a set for the Smock. He has a set of CAD designs for the Smock, and I got him to do a custom pair of scales for me. And unlike some of the other knives I own, like TRMs, this is the kind of thing where you do have to disassemble a knife to put new scales on, and as a result, perfect opportunity to take this knife apart and show you just what is so darn cool about the way this whole mechanism works, the way that they do that whole double detent system, and the way that they do a pretty interesting dual internal stop pin setup. It's neat. It works differently than I'm seen on basically any other knife. This also is a great example of how to talk about interesting flipper design and why the flipper is pointed up like this, and yet you can still get a tremendously good flick even with that double detent out and this being a very light detent. So there's a lot to talk about with the Smock. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is the kind of thing where it's like super easy. It's not sharp. There's nothing rough on this at all. But because of the angle, if you just push the right way, oof. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about on the Smock. I think it's an amazingly cool knife. I already own one, which will come up in my video, because I happen to also have a chopped mini Smock. So I'll talk about that in the video as well, and why it's so perfect that this exists in the world. There's something interesting and clever going on there. And I happened to also find a 20CV version of this, which was a Knife Joy exclusive at the exact same time. I've been hunting for either. I would have settled for either. I'm hunting for them for like almost a year. They're not that many. They were a limited sprint run, and so there's not that many in existence. They don't pop up that often, and when they do, they disappear immediately. And so I never have been the one to get to them quickly enough. But then in a single day, I happened upon this M390 version and a 20CV version, and I just could not help myself, and I bought both. I'm not 100% sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll sell one. Maybe I will have the other 20CV one modded in a different way than this. I've seen people do some really cool full flat grinds. The Smock has this exceptionally slicey, nice hollow grind, but I've seen some people have this reground out to make this even thinner blade stock. Maybe that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, this is going to be a short video, but stay tuned for a full Kevin-style knife nerdery deep dive on the Spyderco Smock. Ugh, I'm so glad I finally got one of these. Okay, see you next time. Okay, time for part 2. So as I mentioned, I managed to get an M390 version of the Spyderco Smock, a DLT trading exclusive, at the same time, literally the same day, that I managed to get a 20CV version, which is a Knifejoy exclusive. And it came 2 days later, so let's open this up. Ooh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So this particular one that I got, in addition to the regular black G10 scales that it came with, this one came in red G10, this one came in black G10, and like I said, the original regular version comes in black G10 with that kind of laminate carbon fiber peel over top. This particular one happened to also come with a set of sharp dressed knives, brown micarta scales. Ooh. Like the other one, this one has had the second detent ball removed. I'm assuming the fact there's only a ball in here means that the spring is still in here. But, wow, yeah. This one, it's really interesting to note for me how different the detent strength is. All 3 of these have had the second detent ball removed, but this one is much firmer still. Like this is, yeah, that's much firmer. I can get it to come out, but I have to really work at it. This one's pretty light. Can definitely get it to come out, and this one feels very light, like tremendously so. Yeah. Okay. 20 CV. Well, look at this beauty. It's also really interesting to me the difference in sound. Both of these started as 20 CVs, regular ones, and they both have a kind of mechanical, ratchety sound to them. Let's see if I can get that come across. But this one has almost nothing. Yeah, that makes like no noise whatsoever. And I'm fully suppressing the button, so this is just the sound of it like gliding. And it's almost completely silent and so smooth. And both of these have a much more like... That's odd. Well, anyway, I'm not going to drag this on too much longer. I'm going to pick this all back up later and do a full-fledged video when I put the new scales that I ordered on one of the 2. Maybe this one. I don't know. It seems to be my favorite so far in terms of just general feel. Oof, yeah, that is so smooth. They're all very tremendously drop shutty. Wow. Okay. Can one have too many? Wow. Can one have too many of the exact same knife? Okay, I'll leave it there. See you next time. Okay, I wanted to film one last tiny bit because I just took this thing apart, cleaned it all up and put back on the black G10 scales. I wanted to show you the difference. So these are both G10, but the version that comes on the red DLT trading one has the texture. This is peel ply texture. And so when these scales, when the G10 is formed, a textured surface is put on top and it is pressed in. And then when it is done, they peel that off and you're left with this texture. That's how peel ply texture is made. And the version that comes on the Knife Joy exclusive, both G10, this is polished G10. And so this is super smooth and super shiny and very, honestly, slippery. Like there's a reason why they add texture to things like G10. But this isn't just like this. You can see in this surface here, this is smooth G10 and this is like full on polished. This is even smoother in this kind of little crevice in here. This is very sleek. But in cleaning this out, you'll notice I got rid of a lot of that noise. Yeah. So what was going on, for the most part, is that whoever had used this had gotten just kind of gunk in there, and the bearings themselves were gunked up. And so the balls were not rolling, and so that noise, that kind of mechanical ratcheting noise you were hearing, was this whole thing sliding. The bearings were sliding, not rolling, and so you were hearing a metal-on-metal sliding noise. And now that I cleaned those out, I soaked them in a little bowl of isopropyl and really, really worked them around. They're still not good. They're also like closed cage bearings, and I don't think that's what comes in these originally, so I don't know what kind of bearings they are, but they're not great bearings, whatever someone put in here. But I got them rolling again by cleaning out all the gunk, and now this action is just like kind of bonkers level smooth. Like, holy cow, that's like as guillotine-y as a thing can possibly get. It looks almost like a butterfly knife or something, you know? And as a result, there's also very, very little noise now. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. These are the micarta scales. I like these a lot. I have the wooden scales that are coming, and I'm not sure which sets I will use because, man, this is so slick, and it's definitely slippery, but this is a knife that has good indexing points. So there's the groove right there. There's the whole, just the flatness of this means that you can really kind of, it's not going to twist in your hand. And things like this groove here, or if you choke up, that your middle finger fits in that groove. And so it doesn't feel at all like it's going to slide out of your hand. And since it is just kind of like a flat slab, it doesn't feel like it's going to twist in your hand, even when it is slippery. But wow, that is a lot slipperier than you get over here, or even on micarta. Like, this is reasonably polished micarta. This is slick. Like, the inside is definitely a lot more textured, but even on this, that's a lot more texture you're getting on that. Anyway, just wanted to show you that difference, and yeah, still the quietest. Like, this is totally silent, and this one has a little bit of ratcheting noise, but it's pretty darn quiet now. And then lastly, that's ratchety as heck. I don't know. I did do that same kind of cleaning process on this one, so I'm not sure why this one would be making that noise still. But anyway, see you next time. For real this time.